Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. You are audible.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. As anybody can tell, what is Ishwara? Or you can post in the chat if you want.
Paramatma, the God.
Okay.
He's the master of everyone.
Very nice. Very good. Anybody else?
The one and only God.
Prabhuji, what was the question?
Who is Ishwara? What is Ishwara?
Father of soul.
Okay. Okay. Good. So Ishwara is the Sanskrit meaning of Ishwara is controller, one who controls. So Jagadishwara, who controls material manifestation along with Durga Devi. So Parameshwara, who is the supreme controller, he controls both cosmic manifestation and also material manifestation. So is Krishna. Krishna is Sarva Karana Karakam, cause of all causes. So he is the supreme controller of everything. So he is not the sole creator, he is a supreme controller, and he is not the sole creator, sole controller. So coming to the demigods, or we can call generally devatas, Devatas also control in their own way. For example, there are 33 crore devatas are there. So for Agni, Vayu, for each and every activities are controlled by, designated activities are controlled by the devatas or demigods. So they have been prescribed some duties. So even devatas have got same Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, like all these qualities where as humans are facing, but they are having a more lifetime, they are more spiritualized. So they have a more healthy situations, healthy body in comparison with human. So coming to in our own way, small Ishwara, the we living entities also control. So our control is, the purpose of our control is to enjoy, control, to benefit, to increase our longevity, health, all these things are like physical beauty. So our interactions, our controlling to our surroundings, the Prakriti, everything. So the Supreme Lord or Vishnu creates, maintains, and also destroys. So here we also will do the same thing. So as from Supreme Father, we also have a miraculous capacity of his character of creating, maintaining, and destroying. Say, for example, one building, if you are going to construct a building. So if you are creating a building, you are going to maintain it, and you are going to, after it has been very old and otherwise, you're going to destroy it like that. So in case with, you can create a car, a vehicle, or so many things in terms of our creation. So we are Ishwaras in small under lowercase, small Ishwaras. So coming to the supreme creation. So he does not take any big anxiety, energy into the creation. His creation is very simple and very natural. So his cosmic creation or material creations is very simple as a contrary to our creation. So our creation is very anxious, almost troubling, and also takes a lot of energy. Yet at the same time, the Supreme is not attached to this creation, but we are attached to our creation. So there is a basic difference between, and at the same time, we are also polluting the Mother Earth. So this is the controlling of different aspects from different. The head of the pyramid is occupied by the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. He is the master and supreme controller of everything. But on living entities, we have our also reasonably will control. So this material cosmos lasts for 311 trillion and 400 billion years. So it's a Brahma time. So until it will go like cyclic way as Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, like this cyclically, it will continue until that Brahma reaches 100 years. So then the Pralaya happens. Once again, the creation takes place like this. So for all these things, the Ishwara is the controller. In this sense, the Supreme is the controller. So let's go step by step. Is God a famous personality? Has anybody control? Hare Krishna.
Famous means yes, because we are all aspiring to, pray to him and meet him. So famous, yes.
Yes, okay. So does God really exist? So somehow skeptical, because some of us may want proofs for existence of God. So then coming to meaning of Bhagavan, the Supreme God. Can we see the God with physical eyes? And how to know about God? And how to, there are three ways to acquire the spiritual knowledge and the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi, mother of the scriptures. So Ishwara, a famous personality. So everyone discusses about the Supreme Lord, So the believer discusses about his glories, mainly the devotees. So devotees always believe him, discuss about him, glorify him, participate in his sevas. So do the activities, connecting the souls and glorifying the Lord, listening to his classes, pravachan, like what you have been listening right now, chanting Mahamantra. So these are all activities connecting the Lord. So at the same time, there are non-believers who also discuss about God in a different way. So they say God is partial. So there are questions like, why the war is going on? Why so many people with a disease? Some people doesn't have food. So they will have questions, why there are so many inequalities in the society? So they will say God is partial. He's not, he's giving to only some people Lakshmi, and some other people they are not giving. He's not giving. So some people say like he's bad because God has not given anything. So they have their own interpretations of God. So some may say even I don't need God in my life. And as a scientist, some scientists will say, I want a proof. So how can I believe that God is there? So I need a proof. And some others, that you have been hearing about God man, like I am the God. They will tell, there is no God, I am the God. Like that, they will, if you want any issues, come to me. I will solve your problem. So like this, there are non-believers of God. So, but still, they will utter the God name only. So that is the significance of God name. Even a good people, even the non-believers, all utter his name. Is Epicurus is taking on statement here. So he's a Greek philosopher. In 325 BC, I think he existed. So he's saying like, is God willing to prevent evil? but not able. So then he is not omnipotent. He is able, but not willing, then he is malevolent, not good actually. Is he both able and willing? Then whence cometh evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Once again, the question has been reversed here. Then why call him God? So the Epicurus theory, actually, he does not believe in God actually. So he wants to make everybody not in a belief of the God. So he wants to make people to act on different aspects rather than believing God. So this is against the transmigration and karma principle. So let's go start. Does God really exist? So how can we say that God really exists? So you can see the images. This Mona Lisa picture, which has been in, I think 525, around 520 AD, otherwise it has been 500 years ago. So it has been a nice picture by Leonardo da Vinci. So it has a nice picture portrayed. It has been still in the France Museum, and so is case with Taj Mahal. See how many millions of people visit Taj Mahal, and of course the inventions, great inventions. In every of these aspects, our creativity, our intelligence, our knowledge, the material for that, it definitely has to come from the Lord only. So as I initially said that, so we have been inheriting in terms of knowledge, potency, in a way, smaller way, we get from the Supreme Lord or Lord only. So these images like Great Sphinx, Parthenon, Colosseum, all these are also proofs of that intelligence of materials, which has been like very fast, very old. These structures at the time, the civilian intelligence and all this modern intelligence was not there, but still great structures were built. So one can say it is because of the knowledge and intelligence and innovation given by the Lord only. So we can hear, we don't worship God to gain his approval, but to bask in his love and acceptance. So coming to the scientists believing in God. So Newton is a very nice scientist, you know, that a physician, physicist actually. I believe the more I study science, the more I believe in God. So Newton is saying like this. So Newton made a one, what he called one model actually, the universal model, how universe works actually, I mean, the galaxy system. So it is a toy made of Earth. And if you revolve with using this, so such an orchestrate that the planets revolve around the sun in a regulated orbit. So that's such a design was done by only Supreme only, the Lord only, his creation only. So he was explaining to his atheist friend in this way. This thing is but a funny imitation of a much grander system whose laws you know, and I am not able to convince you that this mere toy is without a designer and maker. Yet you profess to believe that the great original from which the design is taken has come into being without either designer or maker? Now tell me, by what sort of reasoning do you reach such an incongruous conclusion? See, for mere seeing, it's not a toy, as Newton was saying indirectly, that there is a great a principle, a great what do you call invention, great what do you call God creationist has been there in this. So if any of the orbit has changed the planet, no, it's devastating. It is. So such an orchestrated design only can be done by the Lord only. So this is a proof that even a scientist, some of the scientists believe that when the understanding goes as Newton was saying, that he believes the Lord more. So meaning of God or Bhagavan. So according to Parashara Muni, who is a father of Vyasadeva, so he defined a Bhagavan, one who possesses 6 opulences in full or complete. So one who is most powerful. So there is no person or entity who is powerful than Krishna. So he is most knowledgeable. So everything emanates the knowledge to us is from Krishna only. He is most beautiful. And he is most famous. And he is wealthy. So yet he is renounced. So he is not attached to any of his creation. So whatever all these qualities we also possess in all of these qualities in 1 or 2 or 3, not but all qualities equally we possess, but we possess in a meager quantities. So that has to come from the Supreme Lord only. So in such a way, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. This is one citation where you can believe that Parashara Muni is saying Krishna has all the full 6 opulences. You can call him as a Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. So how to see the Lord? Whether we can see with our own eyes, whether we can see what we have to see, how to see that God. So if you are going to, you are in a room and you're going to switch off your light, everything. It's a pitch darkness. You are not able to see your hand or whatever, even anything. So your eyes has that much perfection. So how can you see the Lord? So for seeing the Lord, our senses, our eyes are not sufficient. Our material eyes are not sufficient. So how you are going to see the God means see with your spiritual eye, called like jnana chakshu. So most realized devotees, sannyasis, yogis have seen with the jnana chakshu the Supreme Lord, the God. And also physically they have seen God, because God has to give that jnana chakshu, that is the spiritual eye to see him. Otherwise, we cannot able to see him. Otherwise, the perception is going to be like this. The 6 blind people are being like with the elephant. Some are with the tusk and they are feeling differently. Some are with the trunk, they are feeling differently. So like this, our perception of God also will be with this like this only. So we have 4 main defects. All living entities have 4 main defects. The tendency to commit mistakes. So we always commit mistakes in terms of evil. Repeatedly, we will also make mistakes. Knowingly, our intelligence is like that. Subject to illusion. So our main illusion is, for example, we tend to believe that we are the body, but we are the soul. We identify ourselves as a male, female like this, and also American, African, rich, doctor, actor like this. So this is our illusion. We are part and parcel of the Supreme, and we are the soul. We are not the body. So propensity to cheat. We easily cheat everybody. So we propose one hypothesis and want to prove that, even though we know that it may not be correct in this sense, but still we oscillate in such a way that we cheat and saying that this is the correct. So, and as we know that we have imperfect senses, our senses cannot see all the things. As I explained, the eyes are not enough to see and we have limitations as far as our senses are concerned. So mistakes are painful when they happen, but years later, a collection of mistakes is what is called experience, the intellectual ability, you can say. So in this way, we have imperfections. We have to get out of the imperfections, and we have to see the Lord. If you want to see the Lord, through Jnana Chakshu. So there are three ways of acquiring knowledge, scriptural knowledge. So there's a Arohana Krama and Avarohana Krama. See, Arohana Krama is where like a Pratyaksha Pramana and Anumana Pramana. So Pratyaksha Pramana is a direct perception. So here once again, even the direct perception you are seeing in the picture, that there are two persons having their own way of interpreting the object. So which is correct. Once again, direct perception does not give. Even to an extent only it will give knowledge. And coming to the Anumana Pramana. So theory, which is based on evidence. So as I said in the initial, like some scientists want some evidence to prove that God is there like that. So the theory will be based on postulating some hypothesis. Based on that, there should be some evidence to prove that, then only it can be proved. This is also not complete in understanding the knowledge. And coming to the Shabda Brahma, this is hearing from a bona fide authority. So as you know that scriptures are very important in understanding the Lord. So hearing from a bona fide authority, bona fide spiritual master, will make us understand the spiritual knowledge. See, the Pratyaksha Pramana, we cannot acquire absolute knowledge. See, for example, in these four pictures, we have an optical illusion. We are not able to see perfection. So through material senses, our scientific knowledge is relative only because of four defects. So Anumana Pramana is I said, do the hypothesis and evidence-based belief. So Darwin is searching for something. To suppose that the eye with all its immutable contrivances for adjusting the focus to different distances for admitting different amounts of light and for the correction of spherical and chromatic aberration could have been formed by natural selection. Seems, I freely confess, obscured in this highest degree. See, he is expert in his natural selection. He is not expert in eye. So it may have been like this, connecting with the postulation hypothesis, but it's not a perfect 100% right. So Shabda Pramana, hearing from a bona fide authority was discussed, is the ultimate, the only way in which we can learn perfect knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So how does one knows one's father? Through DNA test, I guess who is speculate, do permutations and combinations, or ask the mother. So mother will eventually tell who is the father. So mother are the scriptures. The scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So scriptures will say who is the father. The father is eternal father, is supreme Lord. So that has to be understood through a bona fide spiritual master. He has to come from a parampara system. So all the way from Krishna, the spiritual knowledge has been transmitted through Brahma, Narada, Vyasadeva, and continued until like Ishwara Guru or ISKCON founder, Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, knowledge, the spiritual knowledge has been transmitted. So through disciple like Guru Parampara system, where there is no chance that something different or deviation will occur. So as it is, it has been transmitted to Parampara system. They are the bona fide spiritual master from where we can learn the scriptural knowledge. So Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajashyo vidu sakalene mata yogo brasta parantap. So in this way, parampara system, it has to go continue. If it is broken, say as in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was saying to Arjuna, so once again it is been said to Arjuna, so that it will continue to be there. Hare Krishna. So what do the scriptures say about the Krishna? God is one. Who is he? Who are the devatas? How does God look? What are his names? Where does he live? What are his powers? How to approach him? How to understand him? How to love him? How to serve him? What do we get by serving him? So final thoughts. God does not want you serving him only because you are supposed to. He wants serving him because you love him. Can anybody read this one?
Just because you cannot see the air doesn't mean you stop breathing. And just because you cannot see God doesn't mean you stop believing.
Yes. Next one, Madhu.
God doesn't want to take your money. He just doesn't want your money to take you.
Next.
God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
So here the last one is God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So automatically he qualifies before he calls. So that's lastly, yes, you can read, Mataji.
God doesn't expect us to solve all the world's problems. He expects us not to create them. The irony is that while God doesn't need us, but he still wants us. We desperately need God, but don't really want him most of the time. God is the supreme controller, but not the sole controller. So below that, Prabhuji, we have to
Not
read?
necessary, Mataji. Not
Oh,
necessary.
okay.
Okay. God is one. Who is he? Who are the devatas? How does God look like? What are his names? What do we get by serving him? So in our forthcoming sessions, we'll learn about all these things. Thank you very much.